Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on the keyhole bracelet, which I would consider to be an intermediate bracelet. So you will have wanted to make a few bracelets beforehand and understand the 4 basic types of knots. And another thing to know would maybe be like how to do a shaped start and shaped end, which I believe I have a tutorial for. It will be linked in the description box, along with the pattern and my social media if you want to check that out. Let's get started. Everybody, this is the pattern. For reference, it's pattern 36452 on braceletbook.com. There are 32 strings and 6 colors. I'm gonna go ahead and pick out my colors and then we will go. Oh my goodness, I was looking at the pictures for these patterns and I really want to make that color combination, but we'll see how this looks. Let's get started. For your materials, this is what we're gonna do. We have our specs right here, so you can go ahead and look right here. But we're going to cut 11 strands of white, each about a wingspan's length. However, one will be a little bit longer, probably about 8 inches for the beginning loop, or like this. And then we're going to cut 1 strand of each of these at a wingspan's length, which is about 6 feet or 72 inches, I think, if my math is right. It's sad that I can't do 6 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60 plus 12 is 72. We're good. Okay. That's how that's gonna go. Let's get started. Okay guys, I've cut my bundle of threads, so now I have all of them kind of in a mess. What you want to do from there is look at each end. So the point with just the white strings and not the one you're gonna use, you're gonna want to match up both ends, right, of your thread, both ends of the bundles, match them up right about there, okay? Then you want to run your finger through the strings until you find the middle. That's where you're going to start your beginning loop. So I know that my white thread that I'm going to make my beginning loop on with the extra thread is on this side. So I know that I need to find a point on this side where I'm going to start that. So I'm going to pinch, I'm going to go right about, I'll go right about here, pinch there, hold it, and then flip it so you can tape it down. I'm going to tape it down right above right there. Okay, so I know this is not the most beautiful taping job you've ever seen. I like to use a binder clip mostly, but I wanted to tape it down just for a different kind of video. So now you want to find your white thread that has the extra long part. So this is my extra long white string. It's 8 to 12 inches longer than all the others. You're gonna do what's called making a loop, right? So I'm gonna start with a backwards 4. And if you don't know the basic knots, make sure you check out my tutorial in the description box. But I'm going to start with a backwards 4, kind of just cinching, and then a forward knot. You're basically just going to repeat backward, forward knots until it's long enough to make a beginning loop. I'll jump to that point. Backward, and then a forward knot. You can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay guys, so I have a screenshot in the top corner indicating where we're kind of starting the pattern. Basically, we're going to separate our bundles of each side. So first we're going to have 6 white or black threads with your darkest color of your gradient, and then the other side's going to contain the other background threads, which is going to be 5 of them, which with the other 4 colors of your gradient. Now we're going to start by taking a white thread, which I guess for me would be this one here, and you're going to either do a backward knot or a forward backward knot. I'm just going to do a backward knot over this whole side bundle to try and get it into the middle, like so. You're going to want to try to get it as clean and up there as possible, like that. Now you're going to take your next darkest color of your gradient. For me that is hot pink, if I can reach it. There we go. And you're going to want to do a forward backward knot. So just kind of try to get it up there. It's a lot harder when you tape it down, I will say. Forward backward knot. So now, by the way, as you do those, you push them out to the side and only do knots on the remaining ones in the bundle. So now we're going to take the next string of the bundle, which for me is my multicolored, and we're going to do a forward backward knot on all the strings left in the bundle. Forward, backward. And then we're going to move on to our light orange, doing a forward backward as well. Forward, backward. And then we have our lightest pink, which I am struggling to grab at the moment. And we're going to do a forward backward on that as well. Wow. This is all just kind of starting this pattern and this process. Okay, now we have our white threads, so we're going to continue doing this pattern with forward backward knots of the white threads onto the other white threads. So forward, backward, and then leave that out. Grab another one, forward, backward, leave it out, and then of course one more forward, backward knot, and leave it in the middle. So there is our first side of our triangle start, looking beautiful as ever, as always. And then now we're going to move on to our next side. First, we're going to start with our darkest color, which for me is that red. And I'm just going to do a backward knot of the red over all these white threads into the middle. So, I mean, this is a forward knot. Forward knot. Woo! Into the middle. Then, one by one, we're going to do backward, forward knots with all of these white threads until they're all pointing into the middle, making sure to leave them out of the bundle so your bundle gets like smaller and smaller. Now we're gonna flip to the other side and do the triangle start on that side. Okay, so now I've separated out my colors again. On the left side, we have the other 4 lightest colors with the 5 white strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on this side, we have the darkest color in our gradient with the 6 white threads. So once again, on this side, we're gonna start with our darkest red string. We're gonna start by doing a forward, backward knot, trying to make it as clean as possible. Forward, backward knot. And then we're gonna repeat the process of doing all white forward, backward knots until we finish this side. Now that this side's done, we're gonna move on to the other side. And this time, we're going to start by doing 1 white, backward, forward knot over the whole bundle, which is just gonna be a hard thing to do, I guess. Forward, backward knot, and then we're going to start with the next darkest color in our gradient. For me, it's hot pink, right? Once again, we're gonna be doing those backward, forward knots over the remaining strings in the bundle, leaving it out, and then moving on to the next color in my gradient, which is the multicolored thread. If I can, there it is. Backward, forward knot, then it's time for orange, backward, forward knot, and then that light pink, right, one more time, backward, forward knot. There we go. Now we're just going to finish up with the remaining white, doing backward, forward knots and leaving them out each time. Really quickly, this is what I have now. So we're just going to try and fold these in together and then clip them. I'm going to start using my clipboard because tape is just so difficult. So I'm a little low, I can't really see. Okay everybody, so now I've just kind of secured the bracelet to my clipboard and we're going to begin the knotting process. We're going to start with this upmost white string and our red string, or our darkest color in our sequence, and we're going to do a forward backward knot over that red with the white. So forward backward. And then we're going to take this red string and we're going to do 5 forward knots. Okay, once we finish our forward knots, we're going to take the next color in our sequence on this left side, which for me is hot pink. I'm gonna do 4 forward knots. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do 5 forward knots. That's my bad. One more forward knot. Okay, now for the next string, we're going to go ahead and do 4 forward knots with that multicolored color. And then 4. Now with our light orange, we're going to go ahead and do 3 forward knots over the next white threads. And then we're gonna take that light pink on this side and we're gonna just do 2 forward knots. So I actually filmed this entire tutorial pretty much, and then I realized I messed it up, so I had to undo all the knots. Just shows that practice does kind of make perfect sometimes, but you can still make mistakes. Sad ones. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and move to the other side. Right over here. And we're going to start once again with this white thread kind of in the middle and our dark red. And we're going to just do a quick backward forward knot with that. And then we'll do 5 backward knots with this red thread. Oh boy, having a hard time grabbing the strings. Okay, now I'm just going to adjust my pattern a little bit for visibility. Nice. Following that, we're going to grab our hot pink thread. Okay, hot pink thread. We're just going to basically go over and do 5 backward knots. With the next color in our sequence, we're going to go ahead and do 4 backward knots. Then we'll move on to our next color. For me, that is the light orange, if I can grab it, right here. And we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do 3 backward knots. I hope I said backward for all these knots. They are all backward knots on the side. And then we'll move on to the last color in this sequence, which is this light pink, and we're just gonna go ahead and do 2 backward knots over those white threads. Excellent. Now what we're able to do is kind of come back to the middle with our threads. So I'm just gonna kind of pinch these together more and find the 2 white ones in the middle, and we're gonna join them together. I'm gonna use a forward knot. And then with the one on the right, we're gonna go ahead and do a forward backward knot on this red thread. And then with the one that was on the left, this white thread over here, we're gonna go ahead and do a backward forward knot over that red thread. That way both white strings are kind of pointed back in the middle, where we're gonna join them together again to make a little diamond shape. Moving back over to this left side, we're gonna take the next white thread in the sequence and we're gonna do 2 forward knots over the next white threads. And then we're gonna move to the next white, so it's gonna be this one right here, and we're gonna do also 2 forward knots, if I can get it correct. 1, 2. Then with that third white strand on the end, we're gonna do 2 forward knots again. Lovely. Now we're gonna take the one on the outermost edge, and we're just gonna take the one that's second most in, so this thread right here, and we're gonna do a backward forward knot over, and then we're going to tie a forward knot over the next white thread. Okay, and then one more time we'll take that second innermost white thread right here and we'll do a backward forward knot to kind of just bring that all together like so. Okay, I'm gonna bring us back over to the middle here, and we're going to take the white thread right here, kind of next to our coral and then this diamond, and we're actually gonna just go ahead and do a backward forward knot over that. So kind of just start pointing the thread the other way, and then we'll move on to the next white thread in the sequence. So that white thread is going to do a backward forward knot over that like multicolored kind of thread that I have here. Moving on to the next one, we're going to take the next white in the sequence and we're going to do a backward forward knot over that orange, and then finally we'll take the next white in the sequence and do a backward forward knot over that light pink right there, like so. Kind of see it coming together now is in the pattern. Then what you're gonna do is take your light pink and you're gonna do 5, oh dear, that was a knot that I messed up. Woo! 5 backward knots over the next 5 white threads. You can kind of see that we're hitting the end of our repeating pattern here, which is good. We're making progress. Then we'll take our orange thread that's on this side and we'll start by doing 5 backward knots as well. I like this color combo. It reminds me of a sunset or a sunrise. I don't know the difference between the colors in the sunset and the sunrise. Okay, back to the bracelet. We're gonna take that next color in our scheme and we're gonna do, you guessed it, 5 backward knots. Okay, moving on to that hot pink, which is probably my favorite color in this bracelet. We're gonna take it and do 5 backward knots. Okay, and then we can see our dark red poking out right here from that diamond. We're gonna take it and we're gonna do 5 backward knots, yeah. Pretty repetitive, not too bad so far. Okay, now we're going to move on to the other side of the bracelet, where we'll kind of do the same thing but just mirrored. So we'll take that white and we're going to do 2 backward knots. So much fun. We'll take the next white and we're going to do 2 backward knots. And then finally, for this part, we'll take the next white in the sequence, which is kind of right here, right? And we're gonna do 2 backward knots over the next 2 threads. Okay, now we'll take the one that's second in from the edge, so this one right here, and we're gonna do a forward backward knot over that string on the end, and then we'll use that same string and do a backward knot over that next white thread. And then we'll take the white thread that's second in from the edge, like this one, and we'll do a forward backward knot over. So now we've kind of changed the direction of the strings. Then, repeating what we did on the other side, we'll take the white thread that we need to be using in the middle here next to the coil, and we'll be doing a forward backward knot over that coil, hot pink strand. Woo! Then we'll take the next white in line and we'll do a forward backward knot over that multicolored thread. Take the next white in line and do a forward backward knot over that orange thread. And then again, we'll take the next white in line right here and we'll do a forward backward knot over that light pink thread. Okay, now once you're done with that, your light pink thread is ready to go. So we're going to take it and we're going to do, you probably guessed this, 5 forward knots over the next 5 white threads. Okay, then we'll kind of just pull our strings down so we can see the pattern a little better and grab that orange thread next in line, and we're gonna do 5 forward knots. Okay, you might be wondering what we're gonna do next or not. We're going to find the next color in our sequence, minus that multicolored, and we're gonna take it and we're gonna do 5 forward knots. Then we're going to take that hot pink in our next series and we're going to do 5 forward knots over the next 5 white strings. Okay, and then we're going to take our red and we're going to do 5 forward knots over the next 5 white strings. Okay, so now it's time to create the kind of keyhole part in the middle. Super easy, we're just gonna focus on the left of these white strings for a moment, so from the diamond onward. and we're gonna focus on the one, not this one right here, but this one next to it. So we're gonna start by taking this string and we're gonna do a forward knot over the one that's pointing to the left. Just a forward knot over that one, like so. And then we'll put both of these strings together as if they were one. So now this is one string as far as we're concerned. We'll take this white thread, and with this white thread, we'll do a forward knot onto both of those strings together at the same time, like that. So now it's like there's a bundle of 3. And then we'll take the next white string in line and do a forward knot over all 3 of those strings, like that. Okay, now it's a bundle, and then we'll take the next white string and we'll do a forward knot over all of those strings, like so. Then we'll add it to the mixed, and then we'll do one more forward knot over all of those strings, like so. Boom. Now we're going to shift focus to this side, and we're going to do the mirror image of that. So we'll take the string that's second in from the left, and we'll do a backward knot over that string, like so. Put them together as if they were one. Take the next white thread and do a backward knot over the whole bundle. Add it to the bundle. Take the next one. Backward knot over all of those other strings. Add it to the bundle. Take the next one. Like once again, backward knot over all. And then put them together. And then take the final white string pointing in and do a backward knot over the entire bundle. So now we've made the first half of the keyhole. Focusing on this side again, and we're going to take this string that we previously used and we're going to do a backward knot over the entire bundle like that. See, now we're making that inward motion, so we're going to leave it off to the side like we have, and we're going to take a string. I'm going to take one right here on the edge like this. I'm going to do a backward knot with this string over what's left of the bundle, but not this one, because now it's not a part of the bundle. So now I just did a backward knot. I'll take the next string on this side, and now I'm gonna do a backward knot over the next 3 strings that are still in the bundle. Each time the bundle grows smaller and smaller. Once again, take a string, backward knot over the remaining strings in the bundle, leave it out, and then one last time we'll do a backward knot over that one last string. So now we can shift focus to the other side like this. We can use that same string we just used, but we're going to do a forward knot this time over the whole bundle. So that's a forward knot. And then we're going to leave that string out of the bundle. Once again, we'll take the next string on this side and we'll do a forward knot over what's left in the bundle. And then we're going to leave that string off to the side. Repeat the process. Forward knot over the remaining strings in the bundle, leave it off to the side, forward knot over the remaining strings in the bundle, which is like 2, and then one last time we'll do a forward knot over the last string in the bundle, like so. Okay, now we can close the hole together doing whatever knot you please because they are the same color. I'm just gonna do a forward knot. Tight as possible to try to keep it beautiful. Check out the keyhole. Okay, now we can start essentially from the beginning of the pattern. I'm just going to show you how to do a few knots before I put the timestamp on the video for you to repeat. We'll take this white knot on the leftmost side and we'll do a forward backward knot over that light pink. Then we'll take the next white and we'll do a forward backward knot over that orange. My strings are getting into a mess here, and you can hear the dog bowl in the background because we have 2 dogs now, not just Wookie. We'll take that next white thread and we'll do a forward backward knot in the bundle. I mean, not over the bundle, over that one thread. You saw what I did, come on now. And we'll take that white that's next in line and we'll do a forward backward knot over that hot pink, like that. Okay, now we'll take that white once again that's closest to the red, right there, and we'll do a forward backward knot over that red string. Now, this is important, we'll take that red string and just like we did when we started this pattern, we're gonna do, guess how many forward knots? We're gonna do 5 forward knots. 1, 2, 3, Okay, so the difference between this part now though is when we started the pattern, we were at a sloped angle, but now we're doing the entire pattern. So with this next hot pink string, you're also going to be doing 5 forward knots over the 5 white strands. Okay, now we'll put that to the side and we'll grab the next color in our sequence. Once again, we're going to be doing 5 forward knots. Now we'll take the orange and we're going to do 5 forward knots. Take your last color and do 5 forward knots. And if you heard any background noises, I apologize. We've had a puppy for the past few months and he likes to drag his bowl along the floor when he's done with it. I just picked it up and put it on the table. It was slobbery. Kind of gross. Anywho, we're going to be moving on to this next portion, which is that white triangle in the end. We'll start by taking the one that's second most in, and we'll do a backward forward knot. And then we'll do 4 forward knots over the next 4 white strings. So just making that triangle at the end. Okay, we'll take that next white, that's second to innermost in, this one right here, and we'll do a backward forward knot over that end white thread, and then we'll do 3 forward knots. You can kind of see the shape closing in. Then we'll take that next white thread, you guessed it, that's second to innermost in, and we'll start by doing a backward forward knot, and then 2 forward knots over those 2 white threads. Another time, we're gonna do a backward forward with that white that's kind of in the innermost section. And then we'll do a forward knot. And then we'll take that last white and we'll do a backward forward knot. Okay, we're just gonna catch up on the other side and then I will be leaving you guys to the video for instruction. Once again, we can come back over to this side and we can start with this red and the white directly to the right of it. We'll take that white and we're gonna do a backward forward knot over that red string, which pushes it to change its orientation this way so that we can do the same strip on this side. We're just gonna go ahead and do it. We're gonna do 5 backward knots with that red. Then we're gonna once again take that white next to that hot pink right there. We'll do a backward forward knot over that hot pink. And then we'll take the hot pink and we'll do, guess how many backward knots? 5. Okay, moving on to our next color, which is that multicolored thread. We'll take the white next to it, and you probably can't guess what we're gonna do. Maybe you can. It's gonna be a backward forward knot over that colored thread. So change its orientation to point down so we can do 5 backward knots, just like all the other colors that we've been doing so far. I like the repetition in this pattern. It makes it kind of easy to follow. Okay, So we're gonna repeat the same process again for these last two colors. We'll take the white next to the orange. We're gonna do a backward forward knot. And then we'll do, with this orange, we'll do 5 backward knots over the next 5 white threads. Then on the side, we're gonna take that white thread on the very rightermost side right here, and we're gonna do a backward forward knot over that pink. And then with that pink, we'll take it and we'll do 5 backward knots over those white threads. Okay, everybody, we're in the last couple seconds of this video. We're gonna take this white on the second to the innermost, and we're going to do a forward backward knot over that end white thread, and then we'll do 4 backward knots. Can you hear the puppy whimpering? I think he's bored. He wants to go downstairs. Okay, then once again, we'll not take this one, but we'll take the one next to it, and we're gonna do a forward backward knot over the end thread. We're doing the straight edges technique right now, actually, so hint, hint. Then we'll take that thread and do 3 backward knots over those next 3 white strings. Yeah, the straight edges technique is basically when you just do backward, forward, and forward, backward on the edges of the bracelet. Not that bad, not that strenuous. Well, then we'll once again take the one that's second to the innermost, and we'll do a forward, backward on that edge thread. And then we'll do 2 backward knots over the next 2 white threads. Reaching the end here, we're going to do with this middle thread right here, we're gonna do a forward backward knot, and then 1 backward knot over that white thread. You can kind of see we've made a little triangle on the edge right here. Beautiful little triangle. We're going to end it by doing a forward backward knot with this thread over the edge thread once again. Now everybody, you have completed my first part of the tutorial. So I'm going to put the timestamp in so you guys can continue making the bracelet. It's going to be kind of the same as the other part where you just take the white thread and do the backward forward. So I'll insert that timestamp right about now. I will be back when I have finished making this bracelet, which shouldn't take me terribly long, and then we can just have a little outro together. Everybody, you can see my desk is a mess because I've been doing some Etsy stuff, but I have finished the bracelet, as obviously. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it was useful to you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was at least somewhat helpful to you. I hope your bracelets turned out good. Make sure to leave a like and share and comment what other tutorials you would like to see. Also, subscribe so you can see the next tutorial that I post, which should be soon. Have a wonderful day.